Alrighty. Well, tonight we're on lesson 3.6, which is graphing using M and B. And you should have these notes taped into your notebook, and we're going to be working with those. So the first thing is we need to recall that slope equals two things. We know that slope equals the rise over the what? The run. Slope also equals the formula that we use when we have 2 points. On your quiz, we used y minus y and x minus x. And then we also know that the m equals the rate. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses which axis? Well, if it's the y-intercept, it is where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay? And we know that at that coordinate point, wherever it crosses the y-axis, your x is going to be 0, and your y, well, it could be anything, but in our y mx plus b, it is what we call the b. So we have 0 and b. We don't know what this number is on this graph. It doesn't tell us. There's no numbers to reference. But we know it's going to be at 0x. It's not on any x, 0x. And then the y is what we call b. So b represents the y-intercept. Okay? So our slope-intercept form, you've seen it before. It is y equals mx plus b. So, can you tell me again, what does the m represent? Slope. Yes, it's the slope. And the b represents the y-intercept. Okay? And remember that is 0, comma, b. Your x is 0, your y is what we're going to say is b right now, and we have to look at our graph and see where that line passes through, and we can know what the b is. So let's look at our examples. We have this y equals mx plus b. Look, that's going to be our model, and here's some with some numbers in it. So we know that y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3. So right now, could you tell me from this formula, what is your m? What is your slope? Your slope is going to be that negative 1/3. It's the m right before the x. That's your slope. Could you tell me what the b is? Well, if this is the model that we're going after, m, x plus b, we have the m, we have the x, and we have the plus a number. So here, what represents the b? Well, the number 3 does in this formula. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. So now we could use this information to plot our line. We could use this formula and plot our line. So that's what we're going to do. We know it's going to cross at 3. So we know that y-intercept is 0. Remember, it's 0b. Well, b is 3. So here's your y-intercept. And we're going to go to 3, make a dot, 0, 3, make a dot, because that's our y-intercept. That's where our line is going to cross the y-axis. And could we draw another plot if we know the slope? Yes. It's going to go down 1, because it's rise over run, so it's negative, down 1, and over 3. Put another dot. Okay? Then you can just get something flat or has a straight edge. and you just connect your dots. That was a really bad example. Okay, and there's our line. We just graphed this equation. How about that? How about that? All right. So we have a new equation. Can you go ahead and write down the m? What is the m? The slope. Remember to use this as your guide. Y equals mx plus b. Your m is 1 over 5. And your b, ooh, this one's a little different because it's not in a plus form. There is not an adding. It doesn't say plus 4. It says minus 4. See if I can get closer there. It says minus 4. So that really means plus a negative 4. So that it makes our b negative. So our y-intercept is going to be at 0, negative 4. So now let's go ahead and put our dot. 0, negative 4. Well, that's where it's going to cross the y-axis. And now we always start with the b so that we can see where it crosses. And now we can use our slope and put our next point. From here, we're going to rise 1, and we're going to run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our next point. Okay. Connect the dots. There's your line. Okay, so let's go ahead and save the bottom two for class. We're going to do those in class. You probably could figure them out on your own, but for time's sake, okay, let's look at the back, the next page. If I give you just this, y equals 3, there's no m. Is there a b? Remember, here's our equation. Y equals mx plus b. Well, if we just have that y equals 3, we know it's not the m because it would have 3 and then an x. So this has to be the b. So we could rewrite this. Since there's no m, we're going to put 0 for the m. 0x plus 3. We're going to rewrite that to say 0x plus 3. So now we could go ahead and put a dot at 0, 3, where our y-intercept is. And then we go to see where what our slope is, and it's 0. There is no slope. It is a flat line. So it goes like this. That is that's this line. That's y equals 3. Right there. All right. X equals negative 2. Let's try that. Well, it would be, how do we put that in a y equals form? If x equals negative 2, what that line would really look like, it was just a straight up and down line like this, on crossing the negative 2 at the x-axis. And what do we call that in slope? A straight up and down, it's undefined. Remember slope, dude? Okay. So that's undefined. So vertical lines have undefined slopes. Horizontal lines, so that's up and down, straight up and down, that's a vertical. Horizontal, if it's straight horizontal, has no slope to it at all. Sorry, can y'all see that now? If it has no slope to it at all, it is what we call a zero slope. horizontal lines, like this one. 0 slope, it's horizontal. So let's look at the bottom. We're going to find the slope here. If you get y equals mx plus b, remember that's what we're using as our guide. So if you use this as your guide, can you locate the m in each one? Yes, it comes before the x. This is your m. 1 over 2. Could you go ahead and tell me, what's the b? It is 2. What's the y-intercept? 0, 2. Good. Here we have y equals 3/4 plus 6x. They're trying to trick us here because they're putting things out of order. Could we rewrite this? Let's rewrite this to make this nicer so we can put it back in y equals mx plus b form. Let's just say 6x plus 3/4. That's the same thing. We just flipped them. We didn't mess with any negative signs when we flipped them. And now we can clearly see what is the slope. It's the thing that comes before the x. It is the 6. And train yourself with slope to put that 1 on the bottom so you would know that there was a rise of 6 and a run of 1 between each dot on the line. Okay? On number 9, it's a straight up and down slope. So what did we just figure out? If it has a vertical line, what is the slope? This is vertical. So our slope is going to be undefined. Because it's a vertical line. Okay? And then here we have a horizontal line. Horizontal. So what is this one going to be? Look at your notes. Horizontal lines have a 0 slope. Your m is going to be 0. And that's it for tonight. Have a great night.